Thanks for joining me for the K12 Curriculum Overview. We'd like to welcome you to the WVL Elementary, where Sherry Culver works with students using the curriculum at kindergarten and first grade levels. Nancy Perenboom works with students at second and third grade levels. And I, Lori Phelan, will be working with students in fourth grade curriculum. What we will cover today includes the role and responsibilities of the learning coach, who is often the parent, but not always. 3 essential components for completing lessons using the K12 website and the online accounts, using the Learning Coach Guide and online checkpoints and assessments. At the elementary level, learning coaches, who are usually parents, are essential. Lessons are accessed through the online K12 Learning Coach guides and manuals, and as a learning coach, you will guide your child as to what lessons to do at what point in time. You at sometimes may be giving direct instruction. At other times you may be seeing that your child is using their computer and watching a video and working through the understanding of the content and learning objectives. Many lessons end with checkpoints or assessment questions with tests for a student's understanding of the lesson. Complete them as required. Students want the feedback, as well as learning coaches and homeroom teachers. On the online school, the statistics of knowing how the student is doing is very important to the homeroom teacher. Teachers request specific assignments to be scanned and submitted to show mastery of standards. I'll be telling you more about that as we go through the school year. We'll give you some basics today. Weekly language, arts, and math classes with WVL teachers are available for our students at the elementary level in grades K through 4. Responsibilities of the learning coach. It's so important to be prepared and organized. We really ask that as soon as those materials start coming that you check those off, make sure you have all the pieces of the list of the materials. If there would be something missing, please contact your SLA and they'll help you go through the process of getting those replaced. Email is how we communicate. It's our first level of communication. We are more than happy to pick up the phone and chat with you at any time, but we send a lot of information out through email, especially in the first few weeks. I really encourage you to save many of those emails, make some folders, and again, be organized even in your email. Make sure lessons are completed daily and stay on pace. The pacing will be noted in the online school. As students complete their lessons, their progress will increase. It will also identify within those lessons if the student is mastering their content by looking at those checkpoints and lesson assessments. Set up a regular schooling schedule and stick to it. It's so important that your schooling is made a priority. Submit required assignments as they are completed. Each teacher will be notifying families as to what assignments to submit, or if there's a time that the teacher wants to meet with the child to do a conference assessment. Instead of submitting a paper assignment, the teacher might request the student to meet in the classroom and to take a look at the student's ability or mastery of the content there. Teachers are in contact regularly with their families. However, 3 times a year we want to have a conversation with the learning coach at the beginning of the year to share results of PALS and iReady diagnostics, as well as in the middle of the school year, at semester, and at the end of the school year. We want to visit with you about observations that you're seeing, observations that we have, submitted work, and online mastery. Some of the daily responsibilities of the learning coach are first off to log in as a learning coach, to be aware of what the daily and weekly plans are and do any preparations necessary to get materials or set things up for your child to be successful. Be aware of the student login to the student account for those upper grade kids, 3rd and 4th, so that they are set. We really recommend bookmarking things like that or using your class launch or ClassLink Launchpad. That's really handy just to have the icon there in the curriculum and have it ready to go for your child. Select the first lesson of the day. Students should be working around 4 to 6 hours a day. It's a full school day. And check out those first lessons. See what they are including, what parts are online, what parts are offline. Become familiar with the icons noted there. There are some lessons in which the student and the learning coach should work together through the lesson, which the learning coach has the learning guide and it's giving you specific bits of information to share with your child in a particular way. It could be a scripted segment that you actually word by word share with the child. So when prompted and log in, enter the learning coach login to complete those checkpoint assessments. So after a lesson is completed and your child has done some practice work, then they're in some lessons are required to complete it with a checkpoint assessment. And it's just a short little quiz to make sure that your child is on track with the learning objective. Much of the daily work that students complete, either in their materials or on notebook paper when they're older, the learning coach is going to grade that student work. So that is something that you will be doing to give feedback to your child. The only assignments that teachers are actually going to be grading, in a sense, are those assignments that we ask that you submit to us from a particular list, and for which we will give the student feedback and the learning coach feedback. Continue to repeat those steps. Log in as a learning coach, check the plan, find out what needs to be prepared, and then get your student logged in to his or her student login. Get them started on the lessons. And as I mentioned on the launch pad, you can find the K for K12. You also might see on the page Get Fueled. That's another portion of the company in providing curriculum. So what information will you find as you log in as a learning coach? Here's under the plan, the daily plan. You can also view it as the week, so you can see what's up ahead as the week goes. In the daily plan, it'll show just the lessons completed for the day. And it's really important that students complete all parts of the daily lesson plan before moving on. And as you can see, there's the advanced prep for today, so you can find out what things you do need to do to help your child be successful that day. What if you have more than one child working in the curriculum? Well, under that plan, the students' names will be identified, and then you can go to their individual plans as you arrow over. Another great place to look is under the quick links to find out what materials you might need. Within that daily plan, you're linked right to the courses, so it's really great for kids as they check out their daily plan and they can connect right away to the lesson that they need to complete. And as mentioned, sometimes lessons include an assessment to be done after the end of the practice is done. Some lessons include computer processed work where the student will be monitored by the computer as they answer correctly they will continue moving ahead. If they begin to struggle, the computer will adjust for them and give them more practice. And sometimes there's parts where the learning coach is going to have an interaction with the student and follow the lesson guide for that. And then sometimes it's the assessment or checkpoint in which the student is going to be working independently on the computer, answering the questions and making the marks online. At a glance, you can tell by the icons if an assessment has been taken or has not been taken. And not all lessons have assessments. Sometimes students are just doing practice. Each lesson will include a section on materials. Get ready is an activity that students do prior to doing the new lesson. The Learning Coach Guide, that's for you as a learning coach to follow step by step. And sometimes there's books or materials listed under materials so you know what you need to get out. The guide will provide you with specific things to say and specific activities to do with your child. Here's an example of one lesson and the information that you might find in a guide. It'll identify the objective. It'll tell you if there's any student pages that go along with this lesson for which the student will be working on. Keywords. And a step-by-step process. What do we do first, second, and so on. It'll also give an example of what the student page looks like. The Advanced Prep icon is handy because then you can go right to find out exactly what you need to get set up. You can always tell how well your student is doing because the progress is identified by mastery. As students complete lessons at mastery level, they are given credit for those. And the progress bar will identify to what level the student is progressing. What have they mastered? You can easily find out by checking on those progress bars as to the details that they relate to. If you click on the bar, it will give you the information that you need. It will tell you what they have done well and what they're struggling with. The student login page is going to look the same, it's just the student login is different than your Learning Coach login. Students will be able to access their lessons from their page. What lessons do they need to complete? There's a little shortcut that links to those. You may see information about Class Connect sessions. Our sessions are done in our Blackboard Collaborate classrooms, and you won't find information about our particular classes on the online school because all of that is messaged out through email instead. Also, you may see the term K-mail. That's K12 server for email, and we do not use that. We use just the WVL NOSD email. A student lesson may look like this. It will have a list of components in which the student will need to go through in order. It will give them some background, get them ready, then they'll learn new, and then they'll practice, and then there might be an assessment. On the page, it will give them directions, and it'll have information that they can connect to, either materials or resources. Also, in some cases, in an activity, they need to be made aware of anything safety-wise that they should pay attention to. So in many of the lessons, there's going to be checkpoints. And it's a great way for you as a learning guide and for me as a teacher to know how well the child is doing. It will identify if the student is mastered at 80% or higher. If, for instance, the child is struggling on a topic, please don't move ahead until you've ironed out some of those issues. And if you're struggling with how to make the information clear to your child, don't hesitate to contact your homeroom teacher for your student. Some assessments are defaulted for retake. If a student should jump ahead, take one, and they don't do well, they should be sure and let you know. So that's a conversation I encourage learning coaches to have with students regarding assessments. The assessments or checkpoints can only be taken a couple of times. If a student without review goes ahead and retakes it, they may run out of chances to do that and to show mastery. So be sure that if make sure your student is well aware of the fact that if they don't do well on the checkpoint, that they really need to have a conversation time for review with the learning coach before trying that again. The student can also tell if a lesson has been completed or not. Sometimes there are no assessments. If there's an open circle, students quickly realize that they have an assessment to take. And it's linked right from that plan, so the student can just click on it. Required assignments help teachers to know how the student is doing. It gives us an idea of the standards that we're focusing on and the work that the student is doing to reach mastery in those areas. Each teacher will send a list of required assignments. Those assignments do correspond with the state standards. They should be scanned and sent to the teacher, and we really need those upon completion. Don't wait. Just as if the student was in a brick and mortar building and they were completing an assignment and they would hand it in the next day. We really would like to see these as completed so that we can get the feedback back to you and your child so we can grow from this learning process. There might be times when we have the student meet us in the classroom and we work on some problems on the whiteboard to check assessments, see if they have the understanding they need to move on. So all that information will be emailed by homeroom teachers, and we'll include what to send, and we'll work with you throughout the school year and in getting that process taken care of. In addition to this webinar, the K12 website also has a place for you to go to have your questions answered. www.k12start.com is a great place for new families to go. And it also does have some videos that have been created by K12 itself that might also help too. So check out that website. It's available all year long for you to go to and to get questions answered by experienced learning coaches or their tips and tricks, or to watch videos that will also help. And to take the next steps for this flipped classroom in which you're learning through this video and then having your questions answered, Wednesday and Thursday of this week, August 26th and 27th, we will be offering times at 10 and 1 each day for you to come into our elementary workshop room to have a time of question and answer. So we hope that you can come and so that we are all ready for the first day of school on August 31st. Thanks for your time and attention today. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.